Hello. Welcome to my stream. My name is Silky Kumo, and I am a brand spanking new PNGTuber. So welcome. Today we're gonna be playing What Remains of Edith Finch. Oh wait, no, the desktop audio is turned down. Okay, cool. No, don't. Game. Okay, let's get rid of this. And ooh, I should adjust my game capture. I forgot to do that. Whoopsies. Or maybe not. Starting off, and we've already got scuff. Let's go. Properties. Capture any full screen application. Why aren't you capturing? Why aren't you capturing? Okay, well, let's try this again. Game capture. Create new. Will this work? There we go. Woo! I'm gone. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So, I'll turn up the desktop audio a little. Let me know if the background sounds are too loud. But yeah, let's get right into it. I have no idea what this game is about. It should be fun.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, that's a missing poster. That's a little concerning. When I paused the menu, when I was trying the game out earlier, you could see a family tree, and there's a lot of people who died really young, like kids, people in their 20s and 30s. It's a little concerning. And so is that missing poster. I guess. Let's go.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Marcus Island Gazette. Oh. There
Inside
we go.
the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh, cool. I could just walk into it. No trespassing. This property is protected by video surveillance. Trespassers will be prosecuted.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
The Finches. Can I go down here? Oh, I can. Oh, gosh. There's lots of options. Yeah, let's go down here first. And by lots, I mean two. Oh, wow. It isn't just a path you're kept on. You can wander. weird.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Oh, there's the missing poster again. Milton Finch. Huh. There's the river, more missing posters.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
These missing posters are everywhere. Did someone just leave a stack of them on a table and they blew away? This is really pretty though.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
It's pretty funky. It's an old truck. What is that? Giant mouth? Weird. Definitely looking forward to exploring the house, though. Very weird. It looks like some sort of amusement park
I
ride.
asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond.
Oh.
She said it had killed her husband.
What the?
I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
What? Just tell a 6-year-old, yeah, that killed my husband. What? What? Oh boy. Ooh. Can I go in here? Can I go in here? No. Okay. It looked like I could go in there. The textures are really nice in this game. Up.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Oh wait, could I have gone up there? Whoops. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go quick. Oh no, that's me being silly. Okay. Whatever. Let's go.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
That swing's pretty creepy.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother.
I can't turn. There we go.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Actually, let's... Shoot, I didn't interact with the front of the house. Ah! Didn't think that would... Whatever.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Everything doesn't look like it's been there for a long time. Like, it doesn't look super dusty. Strong Sculpt. Weird. Paint. Potting mix. Raw fowl. Flour, salt, water, yeast. The Northwest Chef. Something in Dutch. Witch's Kitchen. Viking's Belly. Oh yeah, when looking at the family tree, like, there was, like, Northern European names there. Interesting. The pleasures of Japanese cooking. Kayak and a canoe. Freezer. Workbench. This is interesting. Kind of looks like a... not gallows, but the thing that you, put people's heads and hands through. Dog bowl, fishing poles. Guess we gotta go in the house.
First time in years.
Oh, names. Edie, Don, Lewis, Milton, and Edith. Lewis is the one whose funeral we attended, and Milton was the one who's missing. It's last set to January 2010.
I felt like I was home.
Cool. So many books everywhere. A lot of repeats. But that's okay. Wines, canned goods. Wow. Big old paddle. That's a really long paddle.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
So Dawn was the mom. Edie was the grandma. There's me, Edith, and then Lewis. Where's Milton on that? Was this after Milton had disappeared? Another canoe up there. Okay. Interesting. Oh, there's the notice of his funeral. Or memorial service, I guess. Lights everywhere. Brita. Takeout containers. Does that won't attract bugs or anything? It's a pretty nice looking range. Oh, fuck, that pole kind of startled me. Lots of canned goods. Like a weird amount of canned goods.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Okay, I'll go into there in a minute. Let's start with here. Pacific Coast Seafood. Because, yeah, I saw something about Puget Sound when I was on the ferry. Where is that? The name's really
The table
familiar.
was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Weird. And there's the ferry. Didn't really show it on stream because I accidentally just started the game. Wow, there's wine all over the floor. God damn. Nasty ass food mess. Is this game supposed to be scary? I did not look it up. I didn't even look up how long it's supposed to take to play. Wow, remember these? Like, iPhone or iPod dock things, and you dock your iPod to it and you play music instead of just, like, connecting via Bluetooth like most things do nowadays? I remember those. There's Grandma's oxygen. Packets of soy sauce. I don't like that wind.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
She's a great grandma. Got a crappy little barbecue out there. Is this like Vancouver Island? I wonder where this is. Orcas. It could be. Public market. That could also be Seattle. I'm not sure. Like, Seattle area, obviously.
Nothing in the house looked
I'm kind of
like
quiet, I'm
normal.
sorry.
There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
Wow, a ladder for the bookshelf. That's so cool, though. I'd love something like that in my own house. Cat bed. Oh, why are things rattling? Knitting. Ah, that's a really nice table. Like a tree stump cutout table. So cool. Ooh, wow, the water out there is really pretty.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
What? I guess that's what the original house looked like. That's really cool. Oh, that was cool. How the words went into the fireplace and up the chute. Another gigantic paddle. Surround sound system. Hiking in the mountains. Wow, these are real pictures of people. Wild. That's also a cool feature. Oh my gosh. Should I build this in Minecraft? Okay, off to this section. Ew. Yuck. Nasty. And violin and cello on the wall. Maybe that's viola, but I don't know. More bugs. Barbara Finch. My friend Bigfoot. Interesting. Is she the director or the star? Barbara.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
I guess she starred in it. Okay, so I came from this direction. Not gonna go upstairs yet. I see that there's the assistant's chair to go up the stairs for Great-Grandma Edie. Everyone's got sorted mail, except for Milton, because he's missing. So you didn't take the lamps. Funny story. So like this shelf here, imagine you're moving out. You're trying to clear crap out of that closet. And you got no light in said closet. So you put your phone up on that shelf with the flashlight facing down. And then it falls. And it's not a wood floor, but a tile floor. And that is the story of the one time I broke a phone screen. It was rather tragic. The Spirit Among Us. Missing posters. Really nice stained glass. That's really nice. Tons of letters and crap.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Lots of books. See, this is a cool concept, but man, I kind of feel bad for the books. Rainboots. This is like totally... Oh!
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
What the fuck? Those are all And it's like weirdly sealed off with like fireproofing material kind of stuff. Or the spray foam. It's spray foam. That's what it is. And that's the same barrier thing on the door that was on the workbench in the garage. Okay, let's go into this room.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Okay, I guess that's the basement. Basements kind of freak me out. Let's just go upstairs, I guess. Ha! Of course, tons of family photos. There's the dog, border collie. Another dog, looks like.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Why is there a dog snout on that girl?
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Okay. Oh, wow. Aw, this is gorgeous. This little reading nook right here. Love to sit there all day reading books. I designed something like that in a house in Minecraft once. Because I thought that that would be pretty cool. But the saw is also really nice. For cutting down big old trees out west. Oh, nick crack. Okay, what direction should I go in? This is also nice, this little nook here. Let's go this way. Towards creepy shark tank? Maybe not. That dude's kind of creepy looking. Molly. 1937 to 1947.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with. If she hadn't died in 1947.
So she died when she was 10. Wow. She had a little fireplace, trees coming out of it, some steps, a shark, a hamster cage by the looks of it, pendant. Oh, I should drink some water. Some stuff's hard to tell what it is. There's a rocking horse, a chair, a really nice, like, four-poster style bed. A little doll pushy thing that you would put a doll or baby, in theory, in. How do I get out? Ah! My hands were on the wrong part of the keyboard. Because, of course, I guess let's go to the shark room.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
It was really cool, though. That's the sunken house, I guess. Whale sharks. A sign for the Finches. The light is incredible. There's some interesting dragging marks on the floor, though, so I wonder what was dragged out. A stool, a train. I'll interact with that in a second. A window. Okay. Another whale shark.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20,000 leagues under the sea. Whoa, it worked.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Milton. Some scribbles. tea set. There's the house and a girl. More really gorgeous stained glass. A cup.
Reading this,
Jumping rope.
maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Another doll thing.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Okay, we're in Molly's room.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
I am frightened.
I grew up
whistle?
looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Mount Rainier. Rainier? I don't know. I guess this is Washington.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh, that shark is even cuter looking at it now. Pumpkin.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Wow. I like the jellyfish. Orcas Island calves, and an ant farm. What's this for? Bamboo.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Oh, interesting. So that's the dragon in the underwater house that killed the uncle. I'll click on that in a second. She liked learning and exploring by the looks of it. Oh, look, a little map. Okay.
December 13th, 1947.
Oh.
Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oh, now we're playing as Molly. Cool.
My Halloween candy was all gone. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I kept eating and eating.
Toothpaste? Oh gosh. What the hell?
I ate a lot of things that night.
Holly, that's toxic, isn't it?
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
What in the hell? That is wild.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
like the subtle purring.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Interesting.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Sorry, I've been silent for a minute there. This is really interesting. Oh, that did not land where I expected to land. Ah! Where am I supposed to go? That's an interesting part of the house. Is that gonna be the garage? Ah, here we go. Yeah, I guess. Where's this stupid bird?
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly,
Wow.
I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind.
This is
Then I
so
heard little
cool.
teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
This is hard to control. I'm so disoriented. There it is. Riding thermals around. Oh. I was supposed to click. I thought I was slowly descending. Whoops.
Looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
This is kind of
I
fucked.
swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
This is
And suddenly, I was a shark.
so weird. What?
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
I'm a shark.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Chomp.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh, look at the blood.
Grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Funky. Oh, gosh. I'm a snake? What the heck? Well, I don't like this. Huh. Where am I supposed to go? I just clipped through that. Trying to slither off the boat, but I don't know where to go. I'm kind of just limited. Oh, I get it.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
I think this is a ferry that carries,
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
just ate a dude. Actually, I'll go down first, explore over there. Guess I can't go over there. I'm just gonna go quickly back. Whoop. If it'll let me. Whatever. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, let's just go up the stairs. I was hoping to explore what was on the right side of the ship, but I guess not. Kind of startled me when I ate the drunk guy. That's further up. Let's turn around. Whoa, I'm glitching. Ugh. Here we go. Up the stairs we go! Let's see if we can eat more people. That'll be fun. Or that bird. I don't want to eat that bird. Aww.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
This is wild.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Oh, I'm in a toilet. Yum. Oh. It's Molly's
I
room.
got closer and closer. All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What the hell? That is... Yikes.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Oh, cool. Okay, so this is the menu that I was looking at earlier with the family tree and all the young deaths. Excuse me. So Walter is the one with the shark room. Ah, interesting. So Milton passed away long before Lewis did. Lewis was 22 and Milton was 11 when he went missing. I was only 4. That was wild. Did you just hear a bird? Or a cat? I don't want to go there yet. No, go back, go back, go back. I want her to go in the bathroom! I guess not. Okay, well...
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Into the next room.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Bird cages named after folks. Or not. Lurpy. Rob. Purpley. Purpy? I don't know. They're silly bird names. Burpee. Bob. Why does Bob look like a snake? That one doesn't have a name. The Dream of the Witch House. Is that this house? Derpy. Oh. Oh no. Paintings of birds.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Paint all over the floor.
Lewis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
So I guess Edie could paint. There's an old treadle sewing machine. It's gorgeous. Take a look at it in a second. Molly, Barbara, Calvin, Sam, Walter, Dawn, Gus. Look at these old folks. Gregory, Lewis, Milton, Edith. I like the rubber duck. Little dollhouse. Lewis. Emergency candles. Can I use the sewing machine? No? Okay.
Her room was like a museum.
Sword, wow. Odin. Oh, Edith Finch, joining the great majority. Here's all her pills. Her garbage. Her oxygen. Mallman beneath the Finch house. The Pacific Probe. We're in a family day out at Druid World. And, some picture of Stonehenge. So I guess this is one of those, like, pulpy kind of, like, conspiracy theory style newspapers. Like, you would see them with, like, Bat Boy or something on them a lot of the time at, like, grocery stores. Look at those hats. Edie won't go. Arcus Island Gazette. Okay. I'll look at that. My friend Bigfoot. Edith interview. Random junk. Home movies. Weird America. The Finches. Edith Lake Trip. Sam Medal Ceremony. Sam Photo Award. Conspiracy Now. Anyway.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house.
Well done.
My mom was furious.
Molly Concepts. Mural sketches. Mysteries of Death and Thereafter. Norse. folktales. Hat boxes. Built 1937. Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Wow. Kind of silly, though. Tool belt. A level.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Well then. I guess, yes, Sven was her husband. There's this toolbox and architectural plans. Workbench. T-square. Well, not T-square, but S-square. I guess they're Norwegian. Taxidermy. Oh boy, that'll come up later. Norwegian folktales. 90th birthday, Walker. Okay, let's go interact with that. Oh no, let's not interact with that book.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than her mother.
Oh God, what? What? This is the most horrible thing. That's a carpeted bathroom. Who has a shag carpeted bathroom? That is like mold central. That's so nasty.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah. That's so gross. There's a secret in this bathroom. No shit, Sherlock.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Guess we're going in. Is this a dark room?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
I want to try. Oh, okay. Oh. So this is one of the sealed rooms. Okay. Because that looks like trays and stuff for developing photographs. So this is a dark room. Selfie. Fills holes and glows in the dark. Strong sculpt. Wonder if that's a spray foam that was being used. Murder probe clues exhausted. Couple turns land into Native Haven. Milton. There we go. I can read, I swear. Couple turns land into Native Haven. Okay. Those are some liquor bottles. Bronze seal, distilled gin. Okay, I'm not ready to go here yet, because I haven't looked at Odin's story. So let's go look at Odin's story. Sven and Edie. Oh, cool.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Oh.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse. His wife, Ingeborg, and their newborn son, Johann.
So the family's cursed. Interesting. Ah! Move! Why am I bad at this?
January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Probably the house that's cursed.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house.
Yeah, I
and
guess
Odin
this is
to the bottom
Washington
of the
State.
sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Ah. Interesting.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
That's a living room, isn't it? Okay, so this just goes in a circle. Whoop.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Ingeborg. Okay. So I guess the names in black are probably not going to be explored, but the names... That's interesting. The names not in black, the blue names, they'll probably be the ones explored. Okay, new room. Hunting. Matches. Photo development. Oh, it's Sam. Captured. The secret lives of war photographers. United States Marine Corps. Certificate of acceptance? Oh. Uh-oh. Probably died in the war. American flag. Photo stuff. Calvin's Memorial. Odin Finch National Park. Got a national park named after him, or is it just a sign? Join and fight. Enlist. Seems to have a love for military kind of stuff. Squirrel. SLR photo. Lots of reels of film. Is this a whole fort? That's frickin' cool. Weights. Calvin stopped growing in 1961. That's probably when he died. Sam stopped recording it in 1968, but at that point was a full adult. Cobra Battalion Bravo Company. Certificate of Achievement is presented to Samuel Finch for obtaining a 120% deportment grade in the third quarter of the 1967 and 1968 school year. Company Commander and Sergeant Major. So, I think it's a junior Army Corps kind of thing, like sort of like cadets. Taxidermy for the home. Football helmet. Secret liquor bottles. Okay. So I guess they shared a room. They were brothers. They were twin brothers. Oh, damn. Okay. So Sam was obsessed with the military.
I
Calvin
knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
is obsessed with space. Okay. And I guess I blocked off his part of the room. Pogo stick. Pogo, 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 pogo.
And that he never talked about him.
Explore the universe. To command center. Sandstrider. Cool robot. In 1961. So this is like how we left it when he died as well.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Okay, there's Calvin's story.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Oh, broken leg on the swing.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Oh, wow. Tons of scrapes
At
on
Barbara's
his
funeral,
arm.
we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always
Oh, I'm getting a
wanted
little
to fly.
motion sick watching this.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
I guess I actually gotta fly. I don't want to. It's making me sick.
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here.
Oh,
But I
God.
I
Well, this
think
is
he'd
the swing
already
you
made
could
up
see
his
at the
mind.
beginning.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Oh, God.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
There's lots of rocks out there. Oh, gosh. Wow. Woo.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more people's stories to explore. Oh, that did
After
not
the
feel good.
funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Oh, this is cute. That's so cool, though. Wow. House wrap.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
A cord going up the stairs there and a moon. Backs of bucks. More bottles. Guess I'll go out there in a minute. Ugh. The Bigfoot thing is kind of creepy. Let's go to this room first. I really like the mouse interactions in this game. So that's Barbara's room we would have gone into. There's Odin.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
So those are the stairs that had just gone up. So we'll do Barbara's room. And then...
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Okay, so I haven't gone in that direction either. I'm gonna go back in here briefly. If it'll let me. Guess it won't. Oh well. Okay, let's go to Barbara's room. Everything is very pink and blue.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Ah. Pointy bra. Iron down. That's not how you star an iron. Guitar.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Guess she worked at a diner. That was an outfit for something she was in? The red carpet. Hollywood workout. Masters of Cinema. Center stage. A bunch of playbills. I guess things that she acted in. Records. A typewriter. A very old birthday cake. Yikes. Cigarettes. I love the Cheshire Cat clock, though. Why am I getting motion sick while reading this? Barb Street. Center of worst blizzard in her history. Rated jobs increased. Giant something house fire. Maybe Playhouse fire? No. Firehouse fire? No, that doesn't make sense either. I don't know. Let's read her story.
Of all the stories
Like a
people
comic
wrote about
book.
Barbara's death, I'm surprised
She was
Edie saved this
16.
one.
Old Jack here
Oh,
with
yikes.
another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Yikes.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right!
Oh no.
Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe.
Well,
I'll be back in a sec.
I guess I'll have to go down there later, but that explains where the key is.
Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him. Right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh, I don't want to play as her. Oh, God. Why is this my first foray into the basement? There's a crutch and blood. Wonderful.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Oh, bloody handprints. Even better.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
There's a table saw accident. Can I hit the punching bag? Heh.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
What a jerk.
Oh!
Rick?
He deserved that.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
I don't
Then
blame her.
act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
It's interesting to see the house in this comic book format from years ago. Oh, God. Oh, these are the marks on the floor in Walter's room. Maybe.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Holy
I
shit!
returned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
in, son.
The story might not be over yet.
Oh, God. He's up. Fuck shit.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Oh, God. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die!
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
Didn't we just knock a man
What
off the
kind
second
of
floor,
monsters
though?
They were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. They took it
What a
all
jerk.
pretty hard, but that's another story.
I am looking forward to exploring Walter's story
Inside
now.
the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Oh, what the fuck?
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Well, I'm looking forward to opening the music box and seeing the blood stain again. That feels tasteless.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending. I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Heh. Okay, not gonna go upstairs just yet. Let's go this way. All three are locked. I guess not. Okay, Calvin and Sam. We've been there. That's the terrible pink bathroom. And Sven and Edie. Okay, so I guess we have been everywhere. To the stairs! Let's go up a floor.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key. Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
I guess I'm forced to go to the basement. So much for that.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Now I want to explore even more around here. Because there has to be...
I wonder if that comic was right about there being a key inside the music box near the
Yeah,
basement.
okay, I know, I get it. I don't need that. I guess I got rid of the blood stain. There's the key. Oi. A light switch. Okay, let's go. Sure, it'll look a little bit different from how it did when Barbara was down here, but I guess not too much. Wow, okay. Wine rack, maybe? Maybe not. Magazine? No, clothing rack. Boiler. The infamous table saw. Ugh. Creepy.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Huh. Technically, you don't need one, more than every 10 years. Even if, like, you come in contact with tetanus. But they'll still give it to you if you ask, I guess. Because one time I stepped on a rusty nail, and I went to go get a new tetanus shot, but I was 8 years into my previous one, and they're like, you don't really need it. We'll just put polysporin. And I'm like, I didn't just wait here for 2 hours for you to put polysporin on my foot. So I got another tetanus shot. Hey, look, it's the dragon that he was working on. I wonder if his hand got infected or something, and that's how he died. Vice. All bits of wood. This is not a safe shop. There's no guard on the saw blade. Come on, people. Health and safety.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
That was the old punching bag.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Come on. Ah, there we go.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
That's noisy. Is this a frickin' cave? What?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
She looks like she was a prepper. Coffee and cereal and soup.
If there's a pattern in all
Propane.
these stories.
Jelly. Peanut butter. Water. Flour. Beans. More cereal. Snacks. Peas soup.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
I guess Walter was living down here. Bathroom. Yeah, dish rack. I guess it is. Shave cream. Electronics. Walter. I've always loved these like bunk beds with like a desk underneath. It's working on trains. That's what it is. Cutting table, trains, soldering iron. Glue gun, paints. A little hot plate and coffee machine. A radio. Spices. So Walter died not so long ago. Postcards. A bike. Stationary bike. Passageways. Okay, I'll go there after. Homemade weaponry. Cracking the curse. Spiritual warfare. Evil unleashed. The dark defense. Warding away spirits. Malevolent monsters. Barbara Finch, child star. Haunted, a guide. Okay, let's read his story. And then open the window.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
Ew.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Huh. These peaches look so nasty.
And then one day, everything just stopped.
Oh, it didn't shake. He's got age
Whatever that
spots.
thing was, it was gone.
Oh, it's 2005.
Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Oh, it's Walter. Like, I know it was Walter, but like, Walter who's hiding under the bed.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
I'm locked in. Oh, there we go. Right, forgot about this. Oh, these are creepy little tunnels. Chamber. Okay, it's all the same creepy Walter books. Model kits. Is he building Gunpla?
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
Whoa. Sledgehammer. I want to see what's in here. Is that my storeroom? Where I just came from? Yeah. I guess this tunnel is the way I gotta go.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Yeah, because you've been eating gross-ass canned peaches.
Or a month. Or a single week.
Man,
I'd
to
be
just get
happy
hit by a
with one
train.
new day.
These look like maintained train tracks.
I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Oh, God. That's the rattling every day. That's the monster. It's the goddamn train. Ripperoni, dude.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Okay. So we got Sam, Edie, Gregory, Gus, Don, Lewis, and Milton.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
It's interesting his love for trains, despite the fact that, is that just a painting? Wacky. Yeah, interesting his love. Excuse me? Do you see that? Do you see that crutch? That's Barbara's. Well, not Barbara's, but her boyfriend's. Come on, mouse, let's go. My mouse pad isn't that big. Oh, my mouse pad's also now falling off my tray. Okay, let's go. Yeah, it's interesting that he had this love for trains and then didn't realize that the loud sound every day was a train.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house...
Train parts.
I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
That's his garbage hole. Nasty. Oh, and it's attracting flies. Guess I gotta go explore the train tunnel. Because that sounds safe. Folks, don't go on train tracks. Like, ever.
Now that there's only one of us left. Or maybe two. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Like,
we believed so
well, now
much
it's
in a family
overgrown.
curse. We made it real.
Oh. That's, neglected.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Is that the old house out there? With the light? Guess we had a totem pole at one point. There's the house up on the cliffs.
But I thought you should know about your family.
An appropriated style totem pole. Oof.
And the history you're a part of.
This is really pretty.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Is she leaving this for Milton?
I think the people in these stories believed them. For what that's worth.
Couple of boats here. I guess I gotta go that way. Up to where the cat thing happened with Molly. An old dock. See lights in the distance. Other people living on the island or across the sound.
And when you look at the house had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible.
Ah, why am I bad at this? There we go. Anytime it tells me to move my mouse up, or is like supposed to be me moving my mouse up, I just straight up can't.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
There's the swing. Is this a smoker? Oh, treehouse.
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Wow. Guess we're heading to the family cemetery.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
All the
3
friggin'
of the
birds.
gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Oof. Derpy, Derpy Jr., Burpy, Chirpy, Furpy, Larpy, Zerpy, Zoe. Coco, Tucker, Charlie, Daisy, Lucy, Shotzi, Oliver, Bob, Shadow, Christopher. Christopher's a fish. Frog. Bailey.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Circle. Oh, I guess that's Calvin's gravestone that we saw before. Molly. Calvin. Sven. Edie. Oh. So that explains why her oxygen was everywhere. Was that Edie passed just after Lewis did. Walter. Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
That's the old house.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Cool. It's very blurry. It's almost easier to see before.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
It's cool. Look at the house. There's so much more to explore. I really like games that have like house exploration elements to them.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Sam Finch. It's a military one. Died at 33. Gus Finch died when he was 13. Gregory Finch died at a year old.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
There's Lewis Finch. Died in 2010. 88, so he's 22. Sanjay Kumar. 38.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
That's why it doesn't have a death date. I like how linear the game is, though. I like linear games. I get confused
There's so many
easily.
things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Wheelbarrow. Hey, guess I'm going up this ladder.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, yikes. Oh, big yikes. Isn't she a teenager?
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
It's a nice barbecue, ashtray, fire. Okay. Oh, that's a bear.
They were both pretty intense.
Hunting and fishing. Gun. Some medals. Okay, that's how I'll get out.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
I like the kid's mohawk. And war. Little whistles? I don't know what those are. Pipes. I guess they're pipes. I'll look at his memorial in a moment. Wait, did he only die at the age of 33? He looks a hell of a lot older than that. Oh wait, no, Sam, the Marines dude. Okay, that makes sense. Grandpa. I guess he died when Edith's mom was really young. Look at the ring he's got there. Is he even married?
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
The extensions on the house, maybe? Or is that a hunting stand? Taxidermied cat killing the bird. Or squirrel, I guess. I was just thinking of Molly. Okay. Airplane ticket. Sparrow Airlines. Well, that's interesting because their name is Finch. But Kay's the one that, wait. Is that a bump? Is that a baby bump? Is that a baby bump? Anyway. Kay's the one who designed that horrible pink bathroom. Ugh, I have to do something, but I'm stretching. Olympic National Park. No, interact with it. Silly. Ah, go for it. No. Come on. There we go. Pictures. What the?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, Dawn's her
Am I gonna
mom.
have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
Okay, got it.
Ah.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw.
To take, in focus shots, I guess.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still on.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
That's funny.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Cool.
Before you take the shot,
This is such a cool concept.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Whoa, that was
Great
cool.
shot, Dawn. I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about
Holy crap. Whoa!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Okay. We're about halfway now. Yeah, we're halfway. Should we keep going? I kind of want to keep going. Let's do this. No. Ah! Let's just try to look around. Go! Meal ready to eat. MREs. Yum. Seriously, though. Like, why would you keep MREs? Nostalgic for your time in the
Sam died,
Marines?
my mom and Edie got really close.
They nasty.
They'd both lost a lot.
Finch control. Come on. Ah, there we go. Gregory. It's the one who died when he was 1. Those wood blocks are cool. Or are they foam? I like the whale. Gregory, Dawn, and Gus all shared a room and had military lockers.
Writing poetry, and yet
Oh, Gus was the punk. That's hilarious. Okay, let's read Gregory's story since it shouldn't be too long. It's a medical report. Oh, divorce. Oh, shite. Kay is the wife of Sam. Okay. A lawsuit has been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days after the summons is served on you to file a written response to the attached complaint/petition with the clerk of this court located at 3527 Clerks Court Street, Friday Harbor, Washington, 98250. A phone call will not protect you. Your written response, including the case number given above and the names of the parties, must be filed if you want the court to hear your side of the case. If you do not file your response on time, you may lose the case and your wages, money, and property may be taken thereafter without further warning from the court. There are other legal requirements. You may want to call an attorney right away. If you do not know an attorney, you may call an attorney referral service or a legal aid office listed in the phone book. If you choose to file a written response yourself, at the same time you file your written response to the court, you must also mail or take a copy of your written response to the party serving the summons at 22 Main Street, East Sound, Washington, 32778. Copies of all court documents in this case, including orders, are available at the Clerk of the Circuit Court's office. You may review these documents upon request. You must keep the clerk and the Circuit Court's office notified of your current address. You may file a notice of current address. Family Law Form 12.915. For future papers in this lawsuit will be mailed to the address on record at the clerk's office. Warning, Rule 12.285 Washington Family Law Rules of Procedure requires a certain automatic disclosure of documents and informations. Failure to comply can result in sanctions, including dismissal or striking of pleadings.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Oh god, I'm playing the
I
baby.
think he saw things the rest of us don't.
over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Oh. Well, rubber ducks and bubbles. Oh, I'm controlling the frog. Wild.
You reminded me so much of Calvin.
Gregory?
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish you could have told us.
And this is how he drowns.
Exactly
Wow.
what we saw.
Did I just kill Gregory?
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too.
Did I just try to swim down the drain?
Love, Sam.
What the hell? That's wild. And his bubble bath. I like the whale, it's cute. Gus. Gus was 13 when he passed, right? Deepest sympathy, with sympathy. Emergency evacuation plan. Okay, house rules. 1. No playing outside without permission. 2. Ah! Didn't just whack my phone across the table. 2. No answering door for strangers. 3. No messes after dark. 4. All chores before dark. 5. Respect others. Light switches for Gus, Dawn, and Gregory. Oh. Interesting. I'm not gonna memorize this. That's too confusing. That is a really old fire extinguisher. Mop. Chores. God, raise flag. Eat shit. Anyway, raise flag. Breakfast. Quiet time. Dawn's duties are to sweep and dig out the trash. Gus has to mop and mow the yard. And Greg, his duty is to be a baby. Routine. Jump rope 100 times. Jumping jacks 150 times. Push-ups 100. Crunches 100. Run the mailbox and bath. Wow, he's turning them into little soldiers. Ugh. Goblins and ghouls. Jump ropes. Sleeping bags. Yo! Yo! I get to rock climb. I'm so excited. That's so awesome. Ah! Okay, let's read Gus's story and then climb up a wall.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard. Before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Interesting. Yo. Oh, the totem pole was still up.
Father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I now pronounce you husband
Oh, okay, so Kay was Sam's second wife, right?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
It's a little punk. Like him.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Tried to fly the kite into the tent. Getting a little motion sick again. Oh, I see.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
I guess not yet. Gotta get those chairs.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
This is really cool. Do we have a tornado? Or just a regular old windstorm?
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam.
Whoa.
But I didn't. Until we found you.
Definitely cared for her brother.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Huh. Okay, so we got Lewis, Milton, Dawn, and Edie. So now just her immediate family left. Well, that she grew up with, at least. A punching bag. Okay, let's go up the rock wall, guys.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Those are some nice slopers you got there. Not the most secure if you've never climbed before. Okay, I guess we'll go out there next. Oh, it's a pole. Oh, I see. Okay, well now I gotta climb up again. Oops.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Dawn, written with Sanskrit-style letters. Orcas Island High School. Schedule an exam, don't forget. Visa application, background check, interviews, immigrations. Call mom and grandma once a week. College application deadline. Look at that old computer. Republic of India. To do. Buy school books. Majors, English teaching, geology. Some Bible quotes. Plans to visit. Jodhpur, Red Fort, and Taj Mahal. Where helping hands create safe places. Really provide sustain. Wedding presents. Nina, Neil, James, and Karen. Emma and Maria? Is that what that says? I don't know. Hello, namaste. How are you? Okay. Interesting. Fly to India. So Dawn went to India and met Sanjay, I guess.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Okay. Interesting. I guess we don't have a memorial for Dawn yet.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
So I guess Lewis was born in India. Oh, that rug. Down or up? Up, I guess.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Interesting, all the support foundation structure things down there.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
So everyone had little gardens. Dawn's garden.
And to see kids in the house again.
Edith's garden, so that's my garden. Milton's garden. Lewis had thyme, mint, sage, and basil. Like basil? I can't words.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Huh.
And for a while, things were good.
A little homeschool. Projector. A little library with a hamster. Gerbil or whatever. Huge, gorgeous window. More library stuff. Edith Finch, history project. Edith's desk. Lewis rules. What about Milton? Teach and to learn. By Dawn Finch. Oh, she wrote her own book on teaching. Old math book. The blue case. Relief efforts end in disaster. Hundreds of relief volunteers are injured or dead after the effects of the second earthquake. Oh, I guess that's how Sanjay died. Scientific method. Observation. Question. Research. Hypothesis. Experiment. Data. Conclusion. Awesome. Whoa.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Ah, so his room's been sealed off. Those are some little glitchy leaves we got there. That's cool looking though. I don't see anything I can interact with to get into the castle though. Oh, there. I'm just silly and I missed it. Who's painting?
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Oh! This is, another game in the series. What's it called? It has a bunch of ink blots and paint. Cool. Architectural drawings. Gorgeous place to paint. Okay, let's read Milton's story.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, it's a flip book. The Unfinished Swan, that's what it's called. Oh god, do I have to start again? God damn it. This is hard. This is a very long flip book.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Interesting. Come on. There we go.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
So he went into his little painted universe here. Historic American newspapers now available.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Well, time to go upstairs, I guess.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Oh, cool. Little chairs, which I'm sure would be much dirtier looking than that. Come on. Ugh. I'm so bad at these. Come on. Is it a push? Okay, well that worked that time. Whatever. Psychedelic.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Ah, damn it, damn it. No, go back. I just wanted to look around. Exit. That way. Okay, I'll go there later. That's for shisha, not weed, but a game system.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
High school diploma. Oh, nice. 2 monitors set up. Is that supposed to be his pipe? That's adorable. Milton's castle's really cool. San Juan Ale. Edith Finch. Locker contents. I guess we're gonna read his story. Institute of Psychology.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Oh gosh.
Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
I guess the blood is,
He
fish
kept
blood.
working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh. Oh, this is gonna lead to an accident.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
This is hard.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
Oh, wow.
He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Oh, wow, now it's
I worried
3D.
about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
It's a dog.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Lewistopia.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play.
It's hard to keep focus on the two halves of the screen, which is obviously going to lead to an injury in the cannery here.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
Oh, it's taking over the screen.
Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him. all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh gosh, it's covering more of the screen.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
Wow, that fish did not go where it was supposed to go because I can't see anything. Oh gosh.
Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Wow.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Do I want a handsome queen or a beautiful prince? Oh no. What if I want both? Let's go for the handsome queen.
Handsome queen.
Wow, I fucked that up. Twinkly.
The queen was on her own quest for...
Sinister serpents.
Sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her...
Electric sitar.
Electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Wow, this is incredible.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh gosh. This is horrifying.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oh
but
gosh.
He was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me.
What am I? Okay, I guess I'll go there.
It was hard to argue with him.
That's blood. Oh gosh. There's blood everywhere.
began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis,
oh God,
the cannery worker.
That's fish heads there.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Wow, this mountain of fish. He's off in his own little world here. How do I interact with you? Oh.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Well, this is fun, but definitely going to lead to a workplace accident. Oh, that's a figure that's on his desk, I think.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Molly Calico. Interesting.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, boy! Oh, boy! He's gonna jam his head into the fish beheader! What the friggin' hell? This is a guillotine! This is a guillotine! This is a... Oh, fuck. Here we go. Chop.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Ooh. Wow. That was hard to read.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Okay, so Dawn and Edie still need stories. Okay, well.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
Okay, so this was the other way up here. Was. Whoops. There we go.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
There's all of Milton's missing posters and packing peanuts.
I understand why we left.
The fridge. Dawn's
My mom
bedroom.
ended up leaving everything behind.
Books. Disaster leaf. So Sanjay's portrait. Edie's 90th birthday. More gorgeous stained glass.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Edie was probably sick. This is my bedroom.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
All these little paper figures. There's the 90th birthday image. Looks like an iPad. Lots of letters, like the kite story. Let's look at my feather. Quill.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are
Edith,
very specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Present in the hallway.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Ah!
Or that Edie had a key to it.
Figured this would be the last space that we'd explore.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories.
Is that a bed?
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Made of meat. Tales of taste and tummies. Flavors of India. Cat bed. Frog toy.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Mysteries of death and the afterlife. Milton Lewis. The houses. Odin. The field of people. Typewriter paper. Did Edie sleep in this room? Raw fowl. History of the Finches by Edith Finch. It's a hand-bound book.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know,
rotting fish, I'm sure.
I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Uh-oh. This is how you get caught by the...
I got turned around.
The wave when it comes back. Because if there's an earthquake, there might be a tsunami associated with it, and it's gonna come back in full force.
For a while, I wondered. I started seeing things.
What the fuck?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Oh, old furniture.
Or maybe I came back to them.
Another treadle sewing table.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Oh, I see.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
2016.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
What remains of
Until
Edith
I found
Finch?
out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you.
Is it her baby?
And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Uh-oh. Does she die in childbirth? Holy shit.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, shit. She was an 18-year-old giving birth. Like, holy crap. Well, that was really cool. Wow. I like all the childhood photos. Achievement unlocked. The end of everything. This is a really creative way to do credits. I like it. They're all pictures of like childhood wonder and adventures. Thanks, Johan. Oh, we're in the rock climbing wall now. Barbara's story. Sam. It's a really nice photo in the ball pit. Oh god, the peach halves. Ugh. The freaking BB gun. That's good. Getting a little sleepy. This is literally all I've done today. Oh, cool. That's a cool way of displaying their names. And this too. Wow. Trick or treat, smell my feet. Cool. The end. Wow, that was such a cool game. Replay story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Okay. Oh, and now Dawn's available. Or drawn in. So it's Edie. Edie's the only one that lasted a long time. Wow, okay. That was really cool. I should get something to snack on and get some more water. So, I guess that's it for now. I am going to stream again on Monday of next week. This week's a little weird because I got a bunch of stuff going on. But Monday I'll be streaming and I'll be putting out a new schedule and be streaming maybe twice a week, I think. is the plan. Maybe once a week. I don't know. Guess we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. This was a very fun game. I love story games like this. But I guess that's it for now. I have been Silky Kumo. I can't get my mouse out of the screen. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, now I got it. There we go. It was a little stuck. But yeah. Thank you for watching. And I will see you all later. Bye.